How are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, December 8th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I am going to do an elite individual profile for Reece James. The elite English right back for Chelsea is turning 23 today, and my intention with this profile is to go through what his career has looked like from the moment that he first stepped foot for the Chelsea organization onto the field to where he is right now. He is one of the best right backs in the world after playing one of the most pivotal roles on a team that would win the Champions League, one of the most prestigious, if not the most prestigious club tournament that any soccer player can really win. His injury would keep him out of the 2022 World Cup, but I do think that he would have made a significant difference, even though they're still in it as of right now. And of course, considering he's 23, I do think it's worth knowing that he does have a lot of incredible soccer ahead of him. He's nowhere close to his peak, but even as of right now, he is at world-class level. So of course, going back into what kind of makes him one of the best, he stands at about 5'10". He's a very sturdy and strong right back. He can, of course, keep up with the best wings in the entire world. Not to mention that on the offensive side, he can make incredible passes as well. Not to mention that, if I'm not mistaken, his sister plays for Chelsea as well. So of course, he comes from an incredible family of athletes. And I do think that he does bring a different mindset to this Chelsea team that can definitely help them win moving forward, or help whichever team he plays for moving forward. Taking a look at Reece James's path to the league, he would originally grow up in the Greater London area and sign for the Chelsea youth organization. And Chelsea would go on and bring him up after initially putting him out on loan in his age 18 season to Wigan Athletic. As an 18-year-old playing for Wigan, he would start 44 of the 45 matchups he would play for a Wigan Athletic team that would finish with the 18th best record in the Championship, which is the second division of English soccer. In that regular season, Reece James would go on and finish with 3 goals and 2 assists, at least from the attacking side. On the defensive side, in this particular season, they would go on and concede 12 more goals in games played, as he was a part of a side that had 12 clean sheets. Additionally, in that season for Wigan, they would finish in the 3rd round of the FA Cup as they got knocked out in their first League Cup matchup. After his loan season on loan, pun intended, Reece James would get called back and play for Chelsea in his age 19 season in 2019-20. In Reece James's full season at Chelsea, he would go on and start 16 of the 24 matches he played for a Chelsea squad that would finish 4th in the entire Premier League, as this would be the season where the end would be delayed because of COVID protocols. In that 2019-20 season, Reece James would add a couple of assists to be a part of, the scoring in Chelsea. He would go on and also add a League Cup goal while playing 5 FA Cup games in a run that would see Chelsea get knocked out of the 4th round of the English Football League Cup. They would go all the way to the final of the FA Cup, where they would lose to Arsenal off of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's brace to win Arsenal that cup. Also in that year, they would go on and finish as runners-up in the UEFA Super Cup, because at the beginning of the year, they would go on and finish drawn with Liverpool at the end, but Liverpool would beat Chelsea off of penalty kicks in order to get that trophy at the beginning of the year. And looking at how Chelsea would fare at the continental stage and Champions League, they would compete in the round of 16 against Bayern Munich. This Chelsea squad would lose to the Bayern Munich team that would go all the way to the finals and win, after Bayern would play its lone 2 legs of this tournament in the round of 16, where they would outscore Chelsea 7-1. Following this 2019-2020 season, Reece James would come back for his 3rd season at Chelsea. In his age 20 season in 2020-2021, he would start 25 of the 32 matchups he played for a Chelsea squad that would finish 4th in the Premier League for the 2nd year in a row. However, they would go on and see Reece James finish with a goal and 2 assists in this Premier League season. They would finish as runners-up in the FA Cup final for the second year in a row, as this was the year where they would lose to Leicester City. They would lose in the round of 4 in the EFL Cup. However, the one trophy they would win would be the Champions League. In 2020-21, Chelsea would go on and win the Champions League for the first time since 2012 and for the second time in the 21st century. In the final, they would go on and beat Manchester City 1-0 off of Kai Havertz's 42nd minute goal. As following that 2020-21 season, Reece James would compete with England in the Euros for 2020, which was pushed back a year because of COVID. In that tournament, England would beat Croatia in the Czech Republic and draw with Scotland to make it out of the group. Reece James would make his very first start with England against Scotland in that round. In the round of 16, England would beat Germany 2-0. They would then go on and beat Ukraine 4-0 in the quarterfinal. They would beat Denmark in the semifinal 2-1 in extra time before losing off of penalties to Italy in the final. So after winning Champions League but losing in the Euros, this would lead into the last full season that Reece James would play. In his third season with Chelsea since getting called back from Wigan, he would start 22 of the 26 matchups he played for a Chelsea team that would finish third in the Prem. This would be the highest that Chelsea would finish in the Premier League since Reece James had come back as a full-time starter. However, following their Champions League win, the Chelsea squad would go on and win the UEFA Super Cup, beating Europa League champions Villarreal off of penalty kicks. In the Club World Cup, Chelsea would go on and win that FIFA Club World Cup final against Palmeiras, the Brazilian side, 2-1, off of Kai Havertz's penalty kick goal in extra time. This would be the only time that Chelsea has won the Club World Cup in club history. Taking a look at how they fared inside the country during the season, they would finish as runners-up in the FA Cup for the third year in a row. As in 2021-22, Reece James would go on and be a part of 2 clean sheets in both the League Cup and the FA Cup. In the FA Cup, Chelsea would lose in the final to Liverpool off of penalties, as Reece James would be one of the players for Chelsea that made his. In the English Football League Cup, the EFL Cup in 2022, Chelsea would lose off penalties to Liverpool, as Reece James would make his penalty kick in this game. So, of course, it's tough to lose to Liverpool in both those tournaments. Looking at how Chelsea would fare in the Champions League the year after winning, they would end up getting knocked out in the quarterfinal round by the Real Madrid team that would go all the way and win after plowing through England's best 3 teams, Chelsea, Manchester City, and Liverpool in a row after beating PSG in the round of 16. But of course, that now brings us to where we are in this current season. Reece James is currently in the midst of his 4th season with Chelsea, as he started 6 of the 7 games so far for a Chelsea team that's currently sitting 8th place in the Prem. Currently looking at where they are sitting compared to their their rivals, they are sitting 1 point behind 6th place Liverpool. They're sitting 5 points behind 5th place Man United as we wait for the Premier League to resume. The Premier League is currently at break because we are currently in the World Cup right now. Reece James did not technically qualify for the English team. I do think that his injury ruled him out. However, England is still competing as they will face off against France on Saturday in the last quarterfinal matchup, but that's currently where we are in the world of soccer. And once we get back, I imagine once Reece James gets back, he will be an instant impact player for a Chelsea team that is still fighting to get their way back up to be the champions of England and the champions of Europe. But that brings us to where we are right now. As Reece James is turning 23, he has a lot more soccer ahead of him, as he has proven himself on that Chelsea team. And with that said, I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Thanks for listening to this piece, and peace out. I'll catch you with more tomorrow. I do want to thank the Football Reference websites and, of course, the Premier League and the FIFA sites as well, because, of course, I got to thank them. And with that said, Thanks for listening, and peace out. I'm James Sims, and this is The Elite. I'll catch you with more tomorrow.